Great. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody. I'm in the shop and I made this disclaimer earlier, but I have my mask off because I was able to get my husband to barista for me this morning. So I didn't want to do it from my home. You might hear the espresso machine running over there. He is an attorney by day, barista when I need him. So he helps me fill in when I'm desperate for help, especially during COVID. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. First, I want to give a shout out just to a couple other women entrepreneurs. My earrings from Revival and my t-shirt that is great. It says Empowered Women, Empower the World is from Dulcinea, downtown Iowa City. So I love to shop local and I think it's so important. And I know this group does too. So check them out. They're two of my favorites. I thought I would start off by talking about just what makes me different. There's so many coffee shops in the area and I think we have a wonderful selection to choose from. But the reason I started Sidekick is that I'm a mom of 3 boys, and I would often go into places and I would feel the eyes kind of roll in my direction. We're not a quiet crew. And I just didn't always feel welcome, not necessarily here, but out of town. And we make a mess and we're noisy. So I just wanted to start a place where everybody of all ages felt welcome and know that it's okay. We expect mess, we expect loud, and we're just here for people to enjoy a place to be. And that's why COVID's been so hard, and I'll talk about that later. But we're really a community hub, and we just hope people keep coming back here. So with that being said, my background is in teaching and event planning. And so when those two worlds collided, I was finally, after 7 years of staying at home, able to make this dream come true. I've had this in my head for a long time. I've started book clubs wherever I lived. I love to read. I love to teach reading. I love to talk about reading, and I love coffee. So people often ask me, is it a 50-50? And it pretty much is. And COVID has really, the books have really pulled through during COVID for us as a bigger seller. More people are reading, and who knew that puzzles were ever going to be so popular? So those are a few of our items that have grown during this. We use Intelligentsia coffee. It's based in Chicago, and we did a lot of touring the United States and working and talking with different companies. And I say we because I've always had help from somebody. I mean, I'm the sole owner, but I have always had input from other people, including my staff and my team. But Intelligentsia has been great. They've offered wonderful on-site trainings before we opened, and we love their coffee. They're also, this is one of the things that makes us different, a direct trade, which is a step up above fair trade. So I'm sure this group knows all about this, but we value that. We also value being as green as possible. Almost everything in here is compostable down to the trash liners. I work a lot with EcoCare, another local company, and all the plastic in my cups is compostable. It's all PLA. I say almost everything because COVID has presented some unique challenges, and there's been a lot more glove use and stuff that's just not compostable. So hopefully we can get back to that, but everything in here will eventually break down, and that's also important to me. Another thing that made us unique in the beginning that has changed is that we didn't offer Wi-Fi. Oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? What are you thinking, crazy lady? You're selling books and now you're not offering Wi-Fi? What century are you living in? It was a move to try and get people off screens. I talked to a lot of bookstores and a lot of coffee shops and read one funny article in the New York Times where an owner went in and ripped the Wi-Fi router out of the wall after somebody peeled back the wallpaper to get to an outlet, and he was just done. So I did that while we were open, but now during COVID, I'm realizing that people are going to want to be out more than ever. We're going to add Wi-Fi back in. So that's something that's changed us, but that's something that made us different in the beginning. We're also event heavy when there's no COVID. That's another reason that makes us different. We've been fortunate enough to work with some other women entrepreneurs, including Leslie Nolte, to do a lot of performing arts stuff in here, including the Nutcracker Tea, which is a huge one. Not necessarily an entrepreneur, but some educators, women educators brought Andrew and Evelyn Yang here during the caucus time. That was another big event for us, which was awesome and fun to see unfold in front of my face. And a lot of little events too. My favorite is the daily story time. We offer that daily. We just get in here and kids are all over. One usually plays with my hair while I read, and they're laying on their bellies, and I love the story time. Author events, I miss those. I miss talking to authors. The virtual events just haven't been as great. So we're just all over the place. We are loving the events, and that's what makes us different. We also have remained contactless this entire time. So we've been doing curbside only. Sorry about that. There's a pickup right now. We have a makeshift pickup window, and you just open the door and take your order. We've added outdoor seating, and we're continuing to add that. We're going to add some more in the back. It's been really important to me as a mother of a kiddo who is slightly high risk in this whole situation that I'm offering that same opportunity to my staff. And I am lucky that I'm able to do that because the impact has been huge during this time. I have now been open longer than during COVID than not. So that's something that a lot of businesses, I'm glad they can't say, but that's just my situation. So that's kind of the COVID overview, but something I forgot to mention, one thing that has been great about COVID, if you can say that, is that it forced me to get everything on an e-commerce site. I have over 10,000 entries, 10,000 titles in here around a time circulating in and out. Some are active, some aren't. That was no small task for a tiny little bookstore. Not super techy, I'll be honest. I sell books. I don't really love social media, although I know it's important. And so those were two areas I really had to force myself to learn how to be better at and figure out along the way. And I think it was a positive. I don't think I would have had the time to do that if it were not COVID during my first year, but because I was given all of this time to do that, it has saved us and it has helped our sales to have that e-commerce up, especially obviously during busier seasons like the holidays. So everything's on there. It may not look exactly amazing, but it's there. And we are excited to have it up there, and that's something that won't go away. We'll always have that order ahead pickup option. And for the foreseeable future, we'll always offer an outdoor pickup option for those who are not comfortable coming in. But working with the outdoors is not my favorite thing to do. And I know this group knows the derecho had impact, that was no different here. So hopefully we can get something up and going here. My goal is to hopefully be able to open the doors for at least ordering and shopping June 1st. So a lot of people are starting to ask me, and this is the first time I've ever put a date on it. But with the announcement yesterday that more vaccines are coming, hopefully my group can qualify in a restaurant worker group, and we can get up and open because we're all antsy to do so. We're here for people, and we miss the connections just like everyone else. And I am delighted to still be here and still running. And my selection has grown. We were children's based. You can see all my stuffies in my fun little seating area behind me, but we're heavy on the children's. There's not really another children's focused bookstore in the area. We obviously have great bookstores in the area. The Haunted Bookshop has been nothing but wonderful to me. Neil has been amazing to kind of guide me and answer any silly questions I've had along the way. So we have baby to young adult, but our adult section has been our best seller during COVID, which is kind of, I wasn't expecting that. So we're adding some shelves before we open up and some more indoor booths for when people can come back in to have some more intimate settings and all that kind of thing. So that's us. That's why we're here. And it's important to me to be a woman that can offer a place for other women to come and feel like we can unite and do this together. And I love working. I love my job. And that was a piece of advice that was given to me early on by Leslie. I said to her the first month, I looked at her and I was like, how have you been doing this for 20 years? I'm so tired. I have 3 kids. What in the world did I just do? And she looked at me and she goes, do you love it? And I said, I absolutely love it. She goes, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So that was like a piece of advice that stuck with me this entire time. And I have 3 boys, like I said earlier, and it's really important to me that they see that women can do whatever they want. So that's a big part of my mission. And that's a big part of me pushing forward through all this COVID junk. And I know it's coming to an end and I just can't wait. And I think Erin said this last week, but I'm also a hugger. And I feel like I'm going to have to hold back a little bit when this all comes back together, because I'm sure not everybody's going to want a hug from me right away, but I'm going to try. So thanks for having me. I'm here for questions. I hope you have some, and it's great to see everybody.
Thanks, Katie. I'll kick it off with the first question. Do you have one piece of advice for a female entrepreneur who might be considering opening a business, either now during these times or, after COVID?
Sure. I would say just say yes. Never, if somebody asks you something, just say sure and figure it out later. Even if you don't know. Also, with that piece of advice, at the same time, don't be afraid to say no. I was very surprised by the amount of unsolicited advice I received in the beginning, and I was kind of in my head thinking, do they really think they think I have no clue. They really think I have no clue. And I'd never owned a business before, but I can teach about anybody how to read. So I know what I'm doing in that area. And I know I'm a quick learner, and be confident.
How do you select the books for your store?
Sure. So the first order was very overwhelming. They sent me, I think it was 50,000 titles. It was from a main distributor. And I went through them one by one, took out the junk that I didn't want in here. And it's also very important for me to have a diverse selection of all authors and all characters in books. And so I went through that list and got rid of some junk, added some favorites. And then I look at a lot of lists to keep it going. So I follow a lot of different Indies Next Best is one of my favorites to follow. I also read all the newspapers that put out the books, and I value working with local authors and their input. Jennifer Black Reinhardt is one of my favorite authors. She lives here, she's local, but she's a big deal. She won't tell you she is, but she is. And so I love talking to them about what they're reading. My favorite thing is when I don't have a book and a customer asks to order it. I love it. I'm like, what is this book? What are you reading? Tell me about it. So my best recommendations, I think, come from my customers, because obviously that's another funny thing about in the beginning. I think a lot of people think that I've read everything in here. I obviously have not. But like, you haven't read this? I'm like, no, I haven't. But I do love getting recommendations from other people, and then publisher calls every season. They'll talk you through what they think is a good fit based on past sales. And I'm just getting to that point now because they didn't really have any past history for me to go off of. So now I've developed some relationships with publishers, and they will recommend some stuff if I miss it on my order.
Very cool. Once coronavirus is over, everything's been vaccinated and it's gone, you're back open up. Where do you think you'll be, like, in the next 3 to 5 years? What are your plans for the future?
That's a great question. It's hard for me to think that far out, because right now I just want to get back on my feet. It will feel like reopening for me. But I intend to get it back up and running in a regular way, or better way than we were before, hopefully. And then I think I'm always thinking about pushing forward, what's next. And I always tell my staff, there's always something to do in here. Like, if you think you're bored, there's always something to do. And if you're not trying to think about how to move forward and make it better, I think that you're kind of stuck. So I'm always planning ahead about what I can do. I mean, I dream about opening other spots or doing something like that, but that's so far off in the future for me because of COVID, that it's hard to think too far. I'm just trying to get everybody in the world vaccinated so we can all feel safe and be in here and meet up, and hopefully we can have 1 million cups here someday soon.
I thought I heard a rumor that Dash was closing in downtown Iowa City. That might be a great second location, if that is
Oh,
in fact
really?
true. Yeah,
That's too bad.
it is. It's very unfortunate. And I could be wrong, but I feel like I heard that recently.
I heard it too, but I think we heard it from the same person, Erin.
Okay. So we don't know if it's, we don't have enough. Regardless,
I didn't know that.
no. What, as a local entrepreneur, do you feel like you had all of the support and resources that you needed? And what value, or what was the most valuable resource to you when you were starting your business?
I would say I've talked to so many entrepreneurs and so many great female entrepreneurs. I go to Thompson and Co. And honestly, Kayla, she was doing my hair and we were talking about what I still needed to do, from everything to start a Pinterest board. Katie, it's not too early, just get on it, to, setting up tax ID numbers and all these things that you don't really want to do, or I don't. I always say I'd rather have another baby than do taxes. I mean, I think it's so hard. So my husband's probably gonna just think I'm crazy for telling everybody that, but whatever. He's also was a great resource for me, so I'm not give him any credit and he'll be mad, but he's a small business attorney, so that is helpful to me. That was obviously very helpful and a resource that I think I would have had to go elsewhere to find if I didn't have that resource. And I think this community is very, very committed to shopping local. And I had a lot of outreach from organizations to say, hey, we're here. You should come talk to this group. You should join this group. We do this, we do that. We'll help promote you. And so those things were very, very helpful to me. And also, just getting open, my friends, they would come over here for hours for free, shelve books, organize books, write signs, like do all this stuff. So I had a lot of very grassroots, if you can call it that, help from people in the beginning as resources that I couldn't have pulled it off if I hadn't had that.
Hey, Katie, thanks for the presentation. A question that I have for you too is, looking back, what was your biggest insight, whether it was like positive or negative, but like thinking about right before you started the business, what's probably the biggest thing that sticks out now about your journey?
Sure. I think it would have been, I wish I would have done the e-commerce site from the beginning. I didn't understand how important that piece was going to be for me. And I was trying to take, the whole screen thing away and just make it more personable for people. And I don't think that I'm going to lose that with the e-commerce site. And I wish I would have, when you do something like this group knows it's so time consuming and there's so many hours put in. It was not something I valued getting done. But in hindsight, I think it would have really helped staff to have a heads up, 10, 15 minutes orders coming versus being bombarded in the beginning with lines and things and that kind of thing. So that's a piece that when I look back, I think, oh, I should have done that. But thank you, COVID. You have allowed me to figure that piece out now. So it's ready to go. And that's something that will always be something that I continue to work on. I've talked to a lot of local businesses about their POS systems, and I've learned quickly that no one really loves theirs because I'm always thinking, could I find an easier way to do this? Work smarter, not harder kind of thing. There's got to be a better way. But with the books and the food and the coffee, it was a real challenge for me to find one that could house all of it together at one point for one shop in one hub. So we went with another startup that is now grown and been purchased by we're on Melrose, there goes fire truck, sorry. So that was another thing that I don't know if I would have tried more, but I was looking into some of the book POS systems were on DOS still, and I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? I don't even know how to do that. And so the book world is still booky. It's pretty old, and that's how they operate. And then the coffee world is we want it and we want it now. And I had to find something in between, and I think I found the best one. But now knowing more business owners and talking to more people, I've learned that no one really loves their POS system. So
Thank you. Yeah, and sometimes when I hear POS for point of sale, I think of another acronym for
right. It's
That
easy.
seems equally applicable.
Yes.
Well, and again, thanks and congratulations on where you're at.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Katie, I don't have a question for you. I just want to thank you for what you're doing, because 20 years ago, I would have loved if you would have been around, because I was that mom, dragging a kid. One kid wanted to sit in story time. The other one wanted to just rearrange all the chairs and build mountains of books that he could climb to the top of the shelves. And so thank you for being so welcoming from that perspective, because I got quite a few glares during my time. And just, having a great space for moms to be in with their kids, as well as just, building that love of reading. I'm super excited about how all that came together. So good for you, and can't wait to visit.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question for you. So what has been your best sales funnel? What at the top of the sales funnel, where have you gotten what have you seen that you can actively do to drive sales?
So before COVID, I would just say that we would we mix up our brews, our pour overs, and offer drink specials, that kind of thing. We do a lot of seasonal stuff. People love that pumpkin latte and that eggnog latte. Those are things that will definitely bring people in, and it's not hard, right? It's something they're looking forward to, and it's easy for us to just do that. During COVID, everyone's had to get really creative. It's actually been super beneficial for me to do these community give back days. So we've worked with local nonprofits, everything from PTOs to the library, all sorts of different groups. We did the Coralville Food Pantry a couple weekends ago, and it brings in different groups that maybe don't even know I'm here, and we give a portion of the sales to that group over a set period of time. So it's either a weekend or a day. So they shop the e-commerce site, they come out, and those have been really successful for me to get people here during COVID. I was only open for 9 months before we closed down.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
It's hard for me to think about beforehand because I feel like the newness of this was selling itself. And then all of a sudden, boom. But working with some other great local organizations like One Book, Two Book during this is great for me. Those kind of things just bring more people in, because I still think a lot of people don't know I'm here.
Yeah, I'm just always curious for storefront businesses, because you're bombarded with advertising and marketing salespeople, and a lot of storefront business owners are very confused about what should I do? Should I do social media? Should I do radio? Should I do direct mail? There's lots of things that you get bombarded with that people that aren't storefronts don't get bombarded with, and there's some things that work with some businesses and not others. So I'm just always curious by that.
Yeah, no, that's so true. There's organizations in here all the time wanting you to pay to advertise in their flyer, and I have found that, the organizations that surround children are better for me, because I'm children's based. So I tend to do that, or organizations around Melrose. Football was weird for me. The one season that we were open during football, I didn't have a clue what to expect. I also live a block from the shop, so that's another reason this works for me. I'm able to walk here. I'm able to run in, check back home quick, make sure macaroni and cheese isn't burning the house down over there. So those are some organizations or things that I kind of advertised around. I did try radio. I don't know that was super harmful, but I also don't think it was overwhelmingly helpful for me to do that. But again, it was so new that it might have just been part of that. But I think working in event planning, I've seen the different groups that push that. I worked for the UI Center for Conferences for a couple years, and I was able to know some of those outlets before doing this, and knew some of the people that worked in those, and the local ones with the local people that tend to advertise to people who live here and visitors seem to be more helpful for me.
Good, thank you. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
What are you reading right now? Do you have any like recommendations or?
So many things. So I know everyone's different, but I'm a person that has like multiple things going on at once. And so I pulled some books because I was hoping somebody was going to ask me that question. But this is great. It just came out, The Sun. It's becoming adapted for young readers. I'm super excited that she did a version for young adults. So if you haven't read it yet, or you have a young adult at your house, I would highly recommend this. I pulled all women authors, by the way. So this is great for all this Rebel Girls series. I don't know, The Sun it's not working with me here. Hold on. I don't think that, oh, there we go. So this is a great series. There's so many of this in the series. I pulled the paperback of this. This is just a fun new picture book. Una. It's a great little kind of fantasy mermaid. I mean, it's just fun. I really enjoyed both of these in paperback. The Secret Life of Church Ladies and Writers and Lovers. My book club just did this, and somebody else picked it, and I loved it. This is by an Iowa Writer Workshop graduate. If you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend. The most fun. Takes place in Manville Heights, between Manville Heights and outside of Chicago. Those are the two scenes. And then this is new, and I haven't read this one yet, but my 13-year-old really enjoyed this about the environment. So that's what's in my stack. I also, another young adult that felt more adult to me, I recommended it as a young adult because I was halfway through, and then I finished last night, and I emailed and I said, listen, this is more adult. You need to maybe pull it and read it before you give this out. And they were very appreciative, but I loved it. The Girls I've Been. So it's YA, but I think it's more of a thriller adult type read. So those are mine. And then I also, there's another way you can support Libro FM. I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but it's the only audio that gives back to local bookstores. So if you ever do audio back and forth in the car, or anything like that, we have one kiddo who likes audio better than books, and so they give a percentage of the sale to your local bookshop. So it's the only one that will support local bookstores. When you purchase the audio book, you just pick your bookstore, and the part of the sales can go to Sidekick. So that's another great way. And on that, we're listening to a new middle reader, Amari and the Night Brothers, a fantasy read.
When we get to community announcements, would you mind putting that in the chat?
No problem.
That'd be awesome.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Ian.
Hi. I'm really I'm just here to support Katie. I'm a neighbor and live like literally a block as well from Sidekick, and we are just so happy to have you in this neighborhood. You have been such an important piece of this community, and especially during COVID. The neighbors will text like, hey, you want to go over to Sidekick and grab a coffee this morning? Or you've just created this amazing way for all of us to connect and enjoy coffee and books together. And you've just been a wonderful addition to this neighborhood. You've created this incredible environment, and we can't wait to get back to it and in it. And just want to say congratulations, and I'm so glad that you have sustained this incredible journey that has been a difficult one for so many. And we need you here, and we're glad you're here, and definitely wish you continued success, and you will certainly always have our support. My question for you is, you are a busy lady. You are raising these 3 kids. You are running your own business. How do you find time to read? When do you read?
Well, first, Anne, thank you. You and Brent have been incredible throughout this whole thing, and I just want to say thank you. Give me goosebumps. I'll try not to cry, because you know personally deep down what a journey this has been for me. She's seen my temporary above ground pool for COVID for my kids, my ice skating rink. I mean, they need outlets, that's for sure. They're all online at home. So I make time to read. My mom taught me that from a very young age. Sometimes I'll get up early and just read by myself. I usually read before bed. I also read a lot of kid stuff. I'm a children's bookstore, so I can read aloud to my kids during the day, and I have it on in the car, an audio in the car if we go anywhere. The boys listen to Becoming in the car, the whole thing. Not the young adult version, and all three of them listened to it. So that was last year when we listened to that driving back and forth to two different schools. But it's important to me, and I think it's just like anything with anybody. If it's important to you, you make time for it. So I try and squeeze it in, even if it's just 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. Thanks, Ian.
Do we have any other questions for Katie?
Katie, you sell food at the shop as well, correct?
Sure. Yeah, sorry. So we have all of our pastries are from Tip Top Cakes. Adam is so talented, and we're lucky to have him. And he brings a variety of stuff here. He delivers for us, and it's a great partnership that we've been able to work with him. Some of our new items that we're trying out are French macaroons, and what else? We have some almond Florentine bars today, and he has some spring ideas. I can always tell when he's like had a lot of coffee, because he will like text me some crazy ideas, and I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? So I love working with him. He's so much fun, and his energy is great. So we're a good pair. And we also sell Heinz ice cream. So we have scoop ice cream, milkshakes, and some coffee drinks that involve ice cream.
Can you turn your camera on so we can actually see the space?
Yeah. Do you want me to walk you around? So I will warn you, we're undergoing a reorg to open again. Hopefully, like I said, June 1st. We've been acting more like a warehouse, kind of like, I'm not even going to say you know who, but we had to just alphabetize everything by author last name. And now we're going back to how it would be if you came in here as a shopper and you wanted to get to a certain genre. So I will warn you, it's not what it usually looks like, but I'm happy to give you a little tour. So here, you can see over here, we have some stuff bagged up, but there's the stage down here. And that's where we have like open mic nights, the featured artist wall for kids to hang their art. That's where we've had authors sit and do some talks. The hexagon cubbies are the big show. That's where I'm sitting. You can just get on in there. I will be honest, there's no way. People always ask me that question. I'm like, all right, you're fine, just sit. The shelves up there, and then we have. So I had a local artist do all the genre signs over here, and it's kind of messy. We've got some stuff going on over there. The animals, the nonfiction, the fiction, that's all middle reader. And then we have these signs, just directional signs here. Some fun stuff. Narnia, coffee, ice cream on the wall. And we feature local art by Laura McGarriger. So you can come to that. I'm not too great with the camera here, you guys. I'm sorry. I told you technology is awesome for me. But some little ones, this is the area that we're working on, and this is the area that I plan to add 3 booths along the Twitter pathway, and a coffee bar. The menu is a Scrabble tile, kind of take off up there. And then it just looks way different. So here's all the stuff. Nick, give it away. And right here is all of our stuff that we take out for a pop-up shop that we did the first time last weekend. So we box it all up, we change it all out every week. And then our pickup tables and our new arrivals. And back here is where we're going to add the parking lot side and our little plexiglass window. We have a bench type booth seating out here with planters to try and make it more just nicer to look at. And then our chalkboard wall, which usually has community announcements or upcoming events. Obviously, it's blank right now. And then our adult section, which has continued to grow, and we have started massive reorganization with the candles and the linen spray. So out front on the Melrose side, sorry you guys, I hope I'm not making anybody sick. We have right in between Maggie's and Bar 3. So we have these outdoor seating fire pits out here, and then the intent on the grassy section over there was last summer it seemed to be open in the evenings for ice cream and things, and that didn't go over well. So we are going to try it again hopefully this summer and have some more story times out on the grass.
Did you say fire pits? You have fire pits out there?
Yeah, we have a couple fire pits out there.
That's awesome.
And
Huh.
we turn them on mostly on the weekends and just leave them on the weekends. Otherwise, we can turn them on really quick if somebody wants to come sit out there and have some coffee. It's funny because I really envision people liking that side of the building, but people really like the back side of the building. I don't. It's a parking lot. I mean, that's something that surprised me. But TNT Woodworking, his name is Todd. He's great to work with, and he has been working on some designs for the back. So the booths will be kind of open air, obviously, something that I will get to keep post-COVID. So it won't be something that's temporary, like the plexiglass. I hope. I can't wait to get rid of that stuff. But they'll be out there and they'll have planters, and we'll put some green stuff back there and make it look just a little more friendly other than just a cement parking lot.
Well, I had never been in there yet, so that was an awesome tour. I really appreciate you doing that, and I cannot wait to go in person sometime.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we hope to have more seating when we open back up, and just the tables that Todd is working on for the middle. That's another thing I learned is I needed some more intimate seating. It was really open, and I felt that people were looking for some private areas to sit and have conversations. So the booths will provide that. They'll also have some shelving on the back. So we'll be able to add to the book collection like that. And the goal with those is to eventually have chessboard tables. So the chess is just on the tables. We have a lot of chess players that come in and play at the coffee table between the couches.
And now after Queen's Gambit, there'll probably be more chess players.
It's not going to hurt.
No. This has been fantastic. I am
Thank you.
with Anne, we're so glad that you're in our community. I mentioned last week, you're killing it on social media. It's been great. You're doing a great job, and we look forward to watching your success grow here in Iowa City.
Erin. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Hey, I have kind of a silly question. My name's Ricardo. I'm a realtor here, and I'm curious, do you get a lot of traffic from the One University Place people, or where do your people come from?
Yeah, so we do get a lot of traffic from the One University Place people, and then there also is a new, I'm sure you know this, but not too far down the way, development going in. The University Club used to be, and it's going to be pretty massive down there, and they're not putting in a coffee shop. So in a couple of years, I expect to have some more traffic for that and from that. And we also get a lot of just neighborhood traffic, I would say. And then Bar 3 is right next door. So when they're up and running, there's a lot of people that will go to a class and pop in for a coffee. And they inspired us to get some smoothies on the menu that are pretty healthy. We don't use any additives or anything like that. So we do offer, I think, 6 flavors of smoothies. There might be one treat one on there. So so there is some of that, but I also there's some hospital traffic. A lot of hospital staff walk past here on their shifts, and before COVID we were open earlier and we did get some of that, but we have shorter hours from 8 to 5, but I do anticipate adding a little earlier morning hours once we're able to let people back in and order and do all that. Thanks for that question.